Everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Sterling Fox, joined in studio by Jack McIver from McIver's Appliances at 610 Southeast Marine Drive in Vancouver, in their 50th year of supplying appliances and great service to their many customers around Metro Vancouver. And here's another note from another satisfied customer, Jack. This one's from Susan in Langley, who says, Mr. McIver, I want to express my gratitude. These are all handwritten notes, by the way. Who does that anymore? I want to express my gratitude for the extra effort you're putting in for me. I know you're going out of your way to help. You're going many, many extra miles. These are there are very few businesses that would do this, and I feel you're very rare in this high-tech modern world where the little guy is forgotten. On top of all your wonderful service, you have a great back-to-basics product. There's far less than can go wrong and break down, and that's what I've been searching for. Thank you for being so considerate and helpful and selling such great appliances, signed Susan, who also tip of a hat to Tina in the office, and I've met Tina, and she's terrific too. But there you go. Thanks for selling those great appliances and not what you usually refer to as a bunch of crap.
Well, yes, but now that
and Susan, to her credit, did not say that.
That is a Hibbs customer. You know, the machine that's built by Speed Queen.
Right.
That delivers exactly what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And when we were talking earlier about the after the 90s, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But Speed Queen was there after the 90s, and it's still there, and it's still as good, if not better.
Right. Now, the products that you sell at McIver's are of the quality and the caliber of those wonderful old products of the 60s that used to make here in Vancouver, some of which are still in people's homes. Talk to us about the brands that you do allow on the floor for sale at McIver's.
Well, there's a lot of the older brands that we rebuild.
Right.
And we resell, and people buy them. Now, we'll get people come into the store, and they'll look at the, you know, the not slick or whatever, like some of the new stuff.
The tricked out stuff.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And they'll say, well, I'd never pay that much for that fridge. And I say, well, that's fair enough, because it doesn't matter whether you will buy it or not. Because everything I put on this sales floor that we rebuild has our workmanship in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tested properly, and it's going to outlast anything that you can buy. Oh, I don't think so. And I said, well, fine, I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad if you leave, because, as I said to you before, everything is going to sell here, and
Right.
It does. So by sticking to my guns on the products, on the new products, the Ariston dishwasher met that standard.
Right.
And it has also been... If we sell an Ariston dishwasher, 2 years later the customer comes in. They don't go anywhere else to buy appliances after that.
Right.
Because the satisfaction and the performance that they're getting is so superior to what they had before of the newer stuff.
Why bother even going looking elsewhere?
They don't.
Right. Interesting.
And
stuff.
they'll order over the phone. A lot of people won't even come in.
Just they know what they want. They know you're going to deliver the good stuff, and that's enough.
And referred people. For instance, one day, a couple of weeks ago, we had 2 ladies phone in about washing machines. And I talked to all these people.
Right.
On the phone. And I said to them, you know, what they were and how. Well, what do you think about mine? And I said, don't spend a penny on it, because you're not going to get anywhere. You're better off to invest your money in an improper new one. So there were 2 ladies bought Hibbs washing machines built by Speed Queen over the phone. And later in the afternoon...
Sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
Interesting.
But they had been recommended.
Right.
You know, they know people who have them.
Mm-hmm.
So in the afternoon, another lady phoned up. And she needs a gas dryer. And they'd been in the store, and they'd seen them. And the husband had to cut the door frame out to get they had a front load that they hated, and the old Maytag gas dryer out. So when they came, we got the stuff out. He'd removed the frame. We put it all in, got it all set up, fixed up their venting, which was not very good, and got them all set up. And she says, these are beautiful machines. And I said, yes. And I said, they're going to last you 30, 40 years.
Right, right.
Because a gas dryer is absolutely the longest running product you can buy. There's gas dryers around that are 60 years old.
Okay.
So when the way things are going, I intend on selling a lot more of these products that we have.
Right.
And if anything else comes along that I can put the same confidence in,
you'll add that to the line.
Otherwise, I'll just keep rebuilding people's appliances that are worthwhile, and keep rebuilding trade-ins that are worthwhile.
When you go to McIver's at 610 Southeast Marine Drive, friends, as I have, you'll be surprised, frankly, at the number of rebuilt appliances that are available for sale. There's quite a huge selection. And again, these are well built in the first place. They've all been refreshed and refurbished, and they're good to go for a whole other lifespan. Jack, typically, just take a fridge at a big box store. What would the typical lifespan of one of those tricked out, shiny new whiz-bang fridges be these days you buy off the showroom floor at a big box store? How long would that baby last?
Okay, there's one came in the other day. It's a year and a half old, and it already had the compressor changed.
Oh, boy.
That doesn't mean they're all like that.
Of course not.
But as I said earlier, we were talking about that. I think 4 or 5 years is it.
So typically, you're being generous and say a 5-year lifespan.
We're running into people who've had, with their fridges, they've had the computer-operated ones.
Right.
We don't sell computer-operated fridges, but therefore that means we're not selling fancy fridges.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
You're selling fridges that work
yes.
and do what they're supposed to do, which is keep things cold.
With regular controls in them, and they just don't have any trouble. But these people had $600 worth of trouble out of their fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up going away from a bottom freezer to a 20 cubic foot upright fridge with no computer for $11.95.
Here's just a silly consumer question about fridges. We've only got a few seconds left, but I need to ask you this. Freezer in a fridge, is it more practical and better for the lifespan of the unit to have the freezer separately in a drawer below, or the old-fashioned style where you open the big door and the freezer's on the top? Which of the two is better for a long lifespan for that fridge?
Okay, the laws of the earth are like this. Cold air falls. If the freezer's on the bottom, the hotter it is, the tougher it is for it to send the air up. So that's the most inefficient refrigerator.
Okay.
The second most inefficient refrigerator is a side-by-side. It has also a situation where it's rotating because they're bigger. But a top mount fridge
is still the best?
Yes.
Still the old school stuff is the best.
Because it sends air down even without blowing it.
Right. Okay. I don't know whether we've talked about that before, but there's so many options.
But let me tell you one more story.
Okay.
How much time we got?
We have 1 minute.
Okay. Lady had a problem with a fridge, freezer on top. She's got glass shelves in it. One of our service guys went out, changed some parts, and got it working, but it was too cold. So she phoned up and she says, well, I need, so I went and looked at it. And she had the top shelf pretty high. Normally the top shelf isn't that high.
That's where you put yeah, right.
And that's where the cold air came through. So I looked at it and I said to myself, I'll pull all these shelves out to let the air go down the back. And that was the problem, was this fridge, built by Whirlpool, the shelves go tight against the outside,
right,
tight against the back if you push them back. There's no stopper. They should have stoppers on those shelves so they can't go bad.
So there should be, what, about an inch at the back of the shelf just to allow for airflow?
It's either that or phone McIver and have it diagnosed.
Well, there you go. That's the magic solution, isn't it?
What a way to make money.
Ah, Jack McIver and his team at McIver's Appliances at 610 Southeast Marine Drive. We'll take your call. In fact, you're probably going to talk to Jack himself. 604-879-5222. 879-5222. Jack, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome. I enjoyed this information dispensation.
See you next time, friends.
Okay.
Have a great night.